Well, hey there, it's Jag, and I'm here to do a video reviewing one of my bottles of whiskey. A lot of my friends have heard me talk at length about the bottles that I bring to parties and whatever, and they say, oh, you should do videos. And so here I am attempting to do a video. Be careful what you ask for. I'm going to attempt to do this all in one take because I don't want to edit the video, so please forgive me if things look a little bit wonky. Here's where I would insert the opening theme song. Dun, 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 bourbon, dun, dun, dun. So today we're going to talk about this little guy right here. This is Basil Hayden Toast. And Basil Hayden was one of the first bourbons that I ever liked. I remember going into a bar, and it was a bourbon and cigar bar, and I looked at the, let me get some lighting here, there we go, and I looked at the chalkboard and had a list of all the bourbons on the board, and this one, Basil Hayden, was the only one that had two names. You know, two names. It wasn't like Knob Creek, two words, but it was two names, Basil Hayden. Anyway, so for that reason, I bought it, and I drank it, and I liked it. But that was probably well over 20 years ago. Since then, I actually had completely stopped drinking entirely and then started again. And so now my relationship with Basil Hayden is different because I have a lot more experience with bourbon. This is a 80 proof bourbon, and it's made by the Jim Beam company. It's a Jim Beam product. Jim Beam makes a lot of things that you might know, like Booker's and Baker's and Knob Creek, as a matter of fact. But Jim Beam, once you get into bourbon, you'll start to notice that if you notice who makes a certain product, you'll notice the flavor of it. So I can notice a Jim Beam product because of it's kind of a tangy, nutty, woody quality that Jim Beam has. And I can taste that here in the Basil Hayden. Basil Hayden makes a lot of experimental kind of bourbons like Toast, and my favorite of theirs, which is the Extra Dark Rye, I think it's called, or Special Dark Rye, I believe it's called. But toasting is when they take the barrel and they put a flame to it, or they call it super high heat, but usually when I've seen it done, they take like basically a flamethrower and they char the inside of the barrel before they put the juice in to distill. And the burning of the wood on the barrel gives it this toasty flavor. And so my review of this Basil Hayden is going to be that it's good, it's drinkable, and it's not great. As I got more and more into bourbon, I decided that I like the higher proof stuff. So anything that's 80 proof, which is technically the lowest proof that you can release and legally call it bourbon. So, and I find that when there's no proof, or when it's 80 proof, that it doesn't have a lot of oomph. It's got no balls. It's just like a drinkable beverage, which is not bad if that's what you want. But for me, and I'm not looking to get drunk, people always say, oh, you like a lot of proof so you can get a buzz. And I don't drink enough of it to really get a buzz, but the flavor is so much more rich when there's some proof there to kind of introduce it to your body. I don't know, I can't explain the science of it, but the higher proof makes for a richer, more flavorful experience. Anyway, so what's going on with this Basil Hayden? If you do like a more gentle, lower proof drink, then I can recommend this. It's got that Jim Beam basic flavor, which is, like I said, it's a nutty, tangy, woody flavor. And but this one also has a nice orange spice to it, to the nose and to the flavor. And it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so I'm not really actually going to taste some right now. And as you can see, I hate it, so it's almost gone. But maybe I'll smell it. But I know, just because I've drunk most of this bottle already. But yeah, so it's got that, I'll tell you a little story. I once bought a bottle of Jim Beam Devil's Cut, which, if you don't know, the Devil's Cut is the amount of juice that has been absorbed into the barrel. So say like you put 5 gallons of juice into a barrel and then it distills, and when you take it out, you don't have 5 gallons anymore because some of it has evaporated. That's called the angel share. And some of it has literally soaked into the wood of the barrel. And that's called the devil's cut. And so Jim Beam released this product where they called it the devil's cut, where they supposedly squeezed the devil's cut out of the barrels after emptying the barrel and bottling that juice. And so then they called the stuff that they extracted from the wood, they called that the devil's cut. So anyway, I brought some devil's cut to a friend's house, and he pulled out some regular Jim Beam, and we were going to do a taste test to see if we could tell the difference between the devil's cut and the regular. And well, long story short, we ended up drinking way too much, and I got sick that night. And so now maybe that's why I have a little bit of a hard time with that Jim Beam basic flavor that underlies all of the Basil Hayden and all of the Knob Creek and all of the Booker's and all of the Baker's products. But anyway, to talk about Basil Hayden toast, I would say if you don't mind the Jim Beam flavor and you want a little kind of orange essence to your drink, then go ahead and get this. This is a $50 bottle, and you can probably find this just about almost anywhere. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and if you want me to keep doing these videos, please comment on them and share this video with your friends. So if there is continued interest in action in the videos, then I'll continue making them. But if I make a video and 3 people watch them and no comments or whatever, then I'm just gonna give it up. All right, so thanks for watching and have a good day.